Alright, so we're back. I know I haven't been that active on this channel in the last couple weeks, but it's for a good reason. If you guys aren't aware, or if you're new here, I made a Kobe Bryant documentary just about his basketball career and his life in general and his life after basketball and all that. So if that's something that you're interested in, then that will be linked in the description below. Fair warning, it is an hour long, so if you have an hour to kill, then, give it a watch. Or also maybe consider sharing it. But anyway, yeah, so we're back. The last video I made was about, I think it was 2 weeks ago almost, where I was talking about Brooklyn. And in that amount of time, we've had a lot of things happen. Mainly, well, not mainly, but what I wanted to talk about here was the constant narratives that I've been seeing about LeBron James and the 2021 MVP, because it seems like this happens every single year, no matter what point of the season we're in, it happens every single year. And I just have to say, I don't understand how this is possible, because of one, the narratives in the past before the season, and two, the roster that he has around him, which kind of correlates to point number one. So let's start with point number one, which is the narratives before the season. Now, I'm talking about Golden State here, so be prepared. But if you're new to the NBA, you may or may not know that Kevin Durant was once on the Golden State Warriors, which may be common knowledge at this point. But what you may not know is the narrative surrounding that entire team when that whole movement happened. Because as soon as Kevin Durant went to Golden State, everybody instantly disqualified Steph Curry and Kevin Durant from winning MVP, because they had both been in conversations for MVPs in the 3 seasons before that, which, yeah, they both won those 3 MVPs. Kevin Durant won in 2014 and Steph Curry won in 2015, 2016, and then they came together. So they both instantly got disqualified from winning MVP. Now, my problem with this is that that's not what we're seeing right now, because if you look at any mainstream media source right now, ESPN, Bleacher Report, anything like that, most of them, if not all of them, will have LeBron either leading or right behind 1 or 2 other players in the MVP race. Which doesn't make sense, because before the start of the season, we saw a top 100 list released from ESPN, and they had LeBron James and Anthony Davis as 1 and 2 in the league, which I have no problem with that. What I do have a problem with is saying that either one of them can be MVP, and especially LeBron can be MVP, while having the second best player in the league on his team, which that doesn't make sense. Because during the Golden State days, I had no problem admitting that, okay, neither Steph or KD are gonna be MVPs. That was just something that I just accepted, because that wouldn't make sense. But now we have the script flipping for LeBron. Now, okay, so let's get one thing straight. I don't hate LeBron James. I know some takes that I may have about him may come off as that, but I don't hate the guy. My problem is that we're seeing things like this constantly that are just meant to prop him up when he doesn't need it. He's already top 3 all time. It shouldn't even be a debate at this point. He's top 3 all time. But this just continues to happen. Last season, I think I made a video about it, where LeBron was not even he was in the conversation for MVP, but he wasn't as high as Giannis or James Harden. But after he went on a 2-game stretch where he beat the Clippers and the Bucks, this was in March, by the way, people were ready to put him as number 1 in the MVP race right then and there, just because of those 2 games. And people literally called it too. I think Dom2K made a video about it before that 2-game stretch even happened. He said if they win those 2 games, they're gonna try to push this LeBron for MVP narrative. And that's exactly what happened. And we're seeing this happen again, because while LeBron is playing great this season, he's not doing anything super insane. He's averaging his usual 26, 27, and 7 and 7 that he always averages, even at 36. Now, that's one of the things that they're trying to push with this, is that he's doing this in his 18th season at 36 years old, which is kind of crazy, but you also have to consider the fact that he has another top 3 player alongside him to go along with probably the deepest roster in the league. And so when you look at it like that, you can see how this argument can pretty quickly be torn apart, because while he is great, there are other players every season deserving of the MVP. This season, it's Joel Embiid, Nikola Jokic, Steph Curry. I had Luka as my pick to win MVP before the season started, but I don't know how that's gonna turn out. but you have all these other players that are deserving of the MVP. Like, it doesn't always have to be LeBron just because of this narrative or that narrative, which that's all the MVP race is nowadays. It's just narratives, because I mean, we've literally heard voters say that on TV.
I did not vote for him for MVP. I voted for LeBron James because I tend to be more of a narrative-based voter, and I feel like LeBron James took a Lakers team that had missed the playoffs 6 years in a row up to the top spot in the West.
And so you see my point. Like, this isn't, I don't want to, I'm trying so hard not to like make this a rant, but I think it's kind of turning out that way just because we're seeing this just season after season and it's not stopping. And another thing you also have to consider is the strength of schedule, because another thing that factors into the MVP race is the team record. Now, the Lakers do have the second best record in the West right now, behind Utah, who are like going crazy right now. They're on an 11-game win streak. Now, the problem with that is that, wait, huh? Okay, so before I recorded this video, I looked at about 3 or 4 different sites that publish strength of schedule ratings, and all of them had the LA Lakers somewhere between 10 and 22. They were all somewhere between there. Now, I look at ESPN's strength of schedule ratings, and the LA Lakers are the exact same as Golden State. Now, this isn't even me trying to be, like, a Golden State fan, but, like, that's just not true. Because if we look at Golden State's schedule, they played against the Nets, the Bucks, the Bulls, the Pistons, the Blazers twice, the Kings, the Clippers twice, the Raptors, the Pacers, the Nuggets, the Lakers, the Spurs, the Knicks, the Jazz, the T-Wolves, and then Phoenix. And their upcoming schedule, their upcoming week has Boston and Dallas twice. So that's a pretty tough schedule. I don't think anybody would argue that. Now, let's look at the Lakers schedule to start the season. So they played the Clippers, the Mavs, the T-Wolves, the Blazers, the Spurs twice, the Grizzlies twice, without Ja Morant. They played the Spurs again, the Bulls, the Rockets twice, the Thunder, the Pelicans, the Warriors, the Bucks, the Bulls again, the Cavs, the Sixers, and the Pistons. And in their next week, they play the Celtics, they play the Hawks, the Nuggets, and the Pistons again. Alright, so I don't know about you, but that doesn't sound as tough as having to play I'm not even gonna get into that, but you see the point. Like, strength of schedule is a lot of what makes teams' records at this point of the season. And especially at game 20, that's gonna have a huge impact on your record depending on how good the team is. Like, if it's just a bad team, then, you know, strength of schedule isn't gonna affect you. But I'm pretty sure you see my point. Like, imagine, I don't mean to talk about Steph Curry again, but imagine if LeBron was in the situation that Steph Curry was in right now, and he had a completely new team that isn't terrible, but it's not as good as you would hope, considering, you know, the injuries to your second best player. And you have a guy alongside you that literally could not shoot to save his life. So if LeBron had that, what do you think the narrative would be? Same record, same, you know, 10-9 record that the Warriors have right now. Same schedule, same everything. Same losses, same types of losses, blowouts, you know, everything. Imagine if LeBron dropped 62. What do you think the media would have said about him winning MVP this season? Because as it stands right now, Steph Curry he's in the conversation, but he's not that far up the conversation because of the team record, which is like something that is going to change once the schedule gets easier, because it is going to get easier. I believe they have one of the easiest schedules in their future games, or at least their future scheduled games, which, I mean, doesn't mean a whole lot because they've only scheduled for the next, I think, 4 weeks or so. And I believe they did that to accommodate for the fact that they knew that there were going to be games that were going to be postponed, and so they could just reschedule them in the back half of the season. But among the games that are left in the next month, Golden State has one of the easiest schedules, and so they're gonna find themselves towards the top of the Western Conference very soon. Like, it's only a matter of time. And so if he's still not in the conversation at that point, then something's going on, because it's not even like he's playing bad this season. He's just been inconsistent. Like, he's still averaging 28 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and he's shooting 45% from the field and he's shooting 39.5% from 3, which sounds insane to say because, I mean, this is Steph Curry. Like, we're not used to talking about him shooting under 40% from 3 because it's literally never happened outside of last season when he only played 5 games, so I don't really count that. But yeah, 39.5% from 3, which is gonna go up because he started shooting, I believe it was something in the 20s when the season started, and now he's at 39.5. So that's gonna change. And so when Golden State is towards the top of the conference, that conversation is gonna be very interesting, and I am going to be waiting for that. But I wanna know what you guys think about this whole situation, or about this whole conversation. Do you think that LeBron has a chance to win his 5th MVP at 36 years old in his 18th season, or do you think that this is just the media trying to force something? Let me know what you think. But with all that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you're new, hit the bell to be notified when I upload, comment down below what you want to see next, and as always, I'll see you guys in the next one.